treatment on the spot. We've got 2 bottles of budget face cream and 2 filled with an exquisite, expensive brand. Unsurprisingly, everyone preferred the fancy-looking stuff.
It's sleek lines, it's elegant, something a little bit special.
It is, it's nice looking, isn't it? Here's the twist. We've put the cheap stuff in the fancy packaging and the pricey stuff in the plain containers. So, can the woman spot the good stuff? So, out of those 2 that you tried, which did you prefer?
I preferred that one.
You preferred that one. Which are you preferring?
That one, because it's gone in much easier.
What do you like?
I like this one. Yeah. I don't know. Probably that one.
That one?
Yeah. I like this one.
That one.
I like this one.
Do you like this one?
Yeah, it's more nicer. It tastes like sunblock. It smells like sunblock.
Yeah?
Yeah, and that one smells fruity.
Okay.
So I think fruity is a bit cheap.
Fruity's cheaper?
Yeah.
Would it interest you to know we paid $72 for that?
Really?
And $6.40 for that.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
So do you think you've been, like, seduced by the packaging?
Yes, I have. Wow. I'm very shocked right now.
Yeah. Amazing,
What?
Although everyone liked expensive packaging, almost half the shoppers on Auckland's Queen Street chose a budget moisturiser over a prestige brand, costing more than 10 times as much. Cheap or expensive, many moisturisers contain mineral oil and its thicker cousin, petrolatum. They're great occlusives, but are they safe? Mineral oil and petrolatum are made from the same crude oil as petrol, so there's concern that they could contain the same nasty impurities, like benzene.
Benzene can cause a specific form of leukemia, and there's a lot of concern around the world about benzene in petrol and breathing it when you're filling up your car with petrol at the petrol station.
But cosmetic-grade oils are much, much more highly refined than petrol.
The amounts of benzene in petrolatum are very, very tiny, and I personally don't see any problem.
Most experts say mineral oil is safe and effective, but what about another common synthetic ingredient? Parabens are a group of chemical preservatives used in many moisturisers.
Parabens are used in moisturisers because moisturisers provide a wonderful environment for bacteria and fungi to grow, and parabens stop that happening.
Luckily, the most commonly used one is also the safest.
The most common one that's used in cosmetics is methylparaben, and there's very little concern about health issues relating to methylparaben.
But there are health concerns about some other commonly used parabens. So can't we do without them? I'm going to test for myself how important preservatives really are. This jar of moisturiser has no parabens and this one does. I'm going to leave them both for a couple of weeks and see what happens. Meanwhile, back at Eden Park, our blokes are settling into a routine.
It's quite funny. I never thought I'd be on a building site where the topic of conversation would be moisturisers and comparing moisturisers.
So how about Moisturiser B, which unbeknownst to the men is a tried and trusted women's brand?
If I was going to get into the habit or make this an ongoing part of my regime, I would probably be using Moisturiser B.
But it's not a hit with everyone.
I used Moisturiser B, had a bad smell and it was hard to rub in.
Moisturiser B I wouldn't use because it would rhyme in what my mum used to wear and it would be a bit girly to wear, I think.
A feminine fragrance may put some guys off, but could moisturiser actually feminise a man's body? There is concern that some parabens could do just that. Butylparaben is one of many chemicals that resemble female hormones.
If a compound resembles a female hormone, then it will have the activity of that female hormone in the body. Premenopausal women will be hardly affected by chemicals like paraben because they've got a lot of estrogen. So if you're a female, then it's just a drop in the ocean and of no concern whatsoever.
Scientists have calculated that even if I use every paraben-containing beauty product I can get my hands on every single day, my exposure would still be thousands of times less than the amount needed to cause me harm. But what could a dose of female hormone impersonators do to our men?
Men who are exposed to chemicals that resemble the female hormone should be worried about effects on sperm count and sperm quality, for example, undescended testes, another disease called hyperspadias, where the urethra comes out of the side of the penis instead of the end, and those sort of changes.
Ouch. And this is not idle speculation. Scientists have shown it's already happening to the male of the species. Well, the male of this species.
There was a study carried out in the 1990s by a very famous American scientist who looked at alligators' penis length in 2 lakes. One of the lakes was polluted with chemicals that looked like the female hormone, and the other one wasn't. And he showed that in the lake with the female hormone look-alike in it, the alligators' penises were about 40% of the size of the normal penises. That's a huge change.
But don't worry, guys, it won't happen overnight.
If you're applying these chemicals to your skin, your penis isn't going to get smaller that day. This is a long-term exposure.
What really concerns many toxicologists is not the tiny bit of paraben in your moisturiser, but the combined effects of all the estrogen-like chemicals around us.
They're things like, for example, chemicals in soy, some of the chemicals that are used in the manufacture of plastics. And it's been said, in fact, that we live in a sea of estrogens, and that's where the big issue is. This whole cocktail of chemicals that we're exposed to. Parabens form an infinitesimally tiny part of that cocktail, but they're part of it.
So do we need preservatives? Well, you be the judge. This is what our paraben-free moisturiser looked like after just 2 weeks. Later we'll show you what it looks like after a month. And after the break, we find out if natural moisturisers are really what they're cracked up to be.
Some natural products only use very small concentrations of active ingredients just to make a label claim.
And could moisturiser cause skin cancer?